They thought it was just doodles, sketches on a wall made by a quiet girl who barely spoke. But when her drawings started to come true, everything changed. First, it was a bird, then a bus crash, then a fire, and then she drew something no one was ready for. In a forgotten corner of Appalachia, a town faced something it couldn't explain and didn't want to believe. In 2006, the coal town of Darlington Hollow, Kentucky, was already on the brink. Most of its youth had left for the city, the mines were dry, and hope felt like a rumor. But in one rusted trailer at the edge of town lived Ella May, a 9-year-old girl with a strange gift. She didn't talk much. Barely went to school. But what she did was draw. Ella would sit for hours, tracing her fingers through dust or using bits of charcoal on torn newspapers. Her drawings weren't childish, they were detailed, haunting, and often eerily accurate depictions of things that hadn't happened yet. One morning, she drew a sparrow with a broken wing. That afternoon, her neighbor's bird crashed into a window. Coincidence, they said. But then she drew the town's only church, engulfed in flames. 3 days later, lightning struck the steeple. That's when people started to whisper. At first, the townspeople were curious. Then, they were afraid. The sheriff paid Ella's home a visit after she sketched a school bus twisted around a tree. That very week, a bus skidded off the icy road. Miraculously, no kids were on board. Still, folks started calling her witch girl. Some even said she brought bad luck. But one person believed in her. Miss Garnett, the old librarian who'd seen too many small-town secrets in her time. She took Ella in for tutoring and tried to keep her drawings private. But curiosity got the better of the town. The breaking point came when Ella drew something new, a face. Old. Hollow-eyed. And standing in the middle of Darlington's town square, with the clock tower behind him, shattered. That night, the mayor disappeared. When his body was found, lying beneath the actual clock tower with the glass shattered exactly as drawn, panic took over. One evening, Ella stopped drawing. She sat quietly in the library basement, clutching a sheet of paper with trembling hands. Miss Garnett begged to see it. Ella handed it over. On it was a picture of the entire town, but empty. Abandoned. Buildings crumbling. No people in sight. Just one word written in jagged charcoal, tomorrow. Darlington Hollow was on edge. Some fled overnight. Others barricaded their homes. The town braced itself for a disaster they couldn't name. The next day, nothing happened. Morning passed. Afternoon came. Then dusk. The sky went dark. And still, nothing. People started to calm down. Maybe it was overblown. Maybe it was a child's imagination, after all. Until the earth began to shake. A sinkhole opened beneath the southern ridge, swallowing 2 blocks, including the library. Miss Garnett barely escaped. Ella was gone. Her final drawing was found floating in the muddy water. It showed a small girl standing alone, beneath a new sun, and a signpost that read, "Next town." Weeks passed. Darlington Hollow was declared unsafe and officially abandoned. Miss Garnett moved to Indiana. But she never forgot Ella. She began collecting stories of children like her, gifted, different, misunderstood. Years later, in a classroom in rural Montana, a new art teacher received a sketchbook from a quiet girl with green eyes. The first page. A drawing of a town. Coming back to life. We fear what we don't understand. But sometimes, the very people we push to the edges are the ones who see the clearest. Ella didn't destroy Darlington Hollow. She tried to warn them. She drew not for attention, but because it was her only way to speak. Maybe the world is full of untold sides, stories that whisper instead of shout. Maybe we just need to learn how to listen.